Good. My fellow Prairie Avenuians, it has been since last September that I spoke to you at a State of the Church. Many things, good as well as challenging, have happened recently. We continue to sow the seeds of the gospel into the surrounding neighborhoods and into communities in need of healing and wholeness. We have taken steps to expand our reach, to reduce our costs, and to manage the resources of time, talent, and treasure that God has graciously provided for the work and labor of the gospel at Prairie Avenue. Now, these past few winter months have certainly been challenging to our mature membership. Sadly, several regular attendees are already shut in or confronting the infirmities of disease and age. I'm sure it will be no shocking revelation to state that we are an aging congregation. And many of the strong member pillars of our faith community are being shaken by the steady approach of mortality. Weather and influenza have been awful companions this season. Not only has there been visible evidence in the number of occupied pews, but there's also been evidence in our collection plate, as missed attendance often leads to missed offering contribution. Several of our absentee attendees, though, have utilized our online giving resources to automate their contributions. And for that thoughtfulness, I am truly thankful. But the multitude of hospitalization, surgeries, and other health and medical issues has confirmed that our decision to become a Stephen Ministry congregation was a very timely and absolutely necessary one. As soon as we have 5 willing and able people trained as one of our first of many Stephen ministers, our capacity to offer meaningful care, one-to-one caregiving, will certainly increase. During this past winter, we were reminded of the vulnerable who suffer without shelter in all seasons. Many of our social service agencies struggled this winter in housing all who needed shelter, and many homeless people often survive without adequate shelter until the weather is truly life-threatening. Now, our parlor briefly became a studio apartment, and we keep this building heated fully even when it is completely unoccupied. But for next winter, and with lessons learned and with consultation with those who deal with these populations, we will be better prepared to extend our hospitality and shelter for the vulnerable in the winter 2018-19. And 2018 so far has provided us with a flood of opportunity. The brutal cold spell in January froze a water pipe and a pipe noise arrestor between the garage and the first floor. Over 400 gallons of water were removed from our choir room. And the damages included the Golden Circle room floor and a couple hundred sheet music titles in the choir room. Now, another water pipe break in the Sunshine classroom thankfully provided minimal damage. The faucets in the first floor bathrooms would no longer shut completely off, and the shut-off valves also no longer operated properly to shut off the leaky faucets. We are truly thankful for 48 years of faithful faucet service in those bathrooms, but we will need to replace all faucets of this building as the need arises. Now, thanks to our flood, we began to rethink exactly how we utilize the Golden Circle room. Now, often it's used for meetings, and it made sense to begin designing that space to meet the needs for a conference room rather than a classroom. A conference table and a few chairs were purchased along with some new office chairs from Habitat for Humanity. And if you haven't been in my office to see those lovely chairs that don't require extraordinary strength to get out of, I hope you appreciate it. We got a really good deal. And thanks to our flood, we also replaced our 48-year-old garage door with an insulated steel door. And the difference in regards to the climate of the garage is substantial. It is at least 10 to 15 degrees warmer every day in that space than it has been with the previous garage door. Now, in anticipation of the arrival of Grayson Peoples, as well as the expectations of our guests to have an inviting and safe nursery, the Disciple women have adopted the refurnishing and updating of our nursery. We will be having a dinner fundraiser in April to purchase additional furnishings and equipment to resemble a typical daycare environment in our nursery. But yes, the wooden toy train is still around. It is one of the sacred cows of Prairie Avenue Christian Church. That is true. Now, the need to video record our Sunday services arose when Greg Suitman began his job as an over-the-road trucker. Now, there had been a transcript of the sermon that had been regularly posted on our website since October of 2016. But thanks to the technical assistance of Patrick Butterick and his trusty iPad from Eisenhower High School, we launched the Prairie Avenue Christian Church YouTube channel.
Good job.
This past month in February. Most people are checking out churches through their online site before they even come here in person, hearing and seeing both the minister and the sermon style. And I am pleased to report that the Prairie Avenue Christian Church YouTube channel has 3 subscribers and a growing number of views.
I watched every episode.
We also await to receive an updated bid to install internet capability and accessibility throughout our facilities. Our classes increasingly have online features and materials that are difficult to utilize without being near the wireless access point that's in the church office. Now, unless we hold all our classes in the church office, it's going to become difficult. No. And outside groups and organizations are requesting internet accessibility for their meetings and activities here as well. So as we look to expand or develop additional revenue sources, we must have today's basic expectations and required services available. And besides delayed maintenance issues, we must have internet throughout this building. As we work towards becoming the visible church to our neighbors, which is open to our efforts since no other church is actively present in the East End, we have sought and we have received the affiliation with the City of Decatur Adopt a Street program to clean up at least 4 times a year the boulevards and streetscape of litter along East Prairie, just behind us here, and the 2200 and 2300 blocks of East Main. We have also extended our hospitality and usage of our underutilized space by allowing the Dove Max program to have office hours here on Tuesdays and Wednesday mornings. Shane Hartman, the Max coordinator, and his assistants will offer that one-time annual assistance to people with utility, medical, or shelter-related expenses. None of the applicants for Max receive cash directly. Assistance is given directly to the unpaid bill or the outstanding balance. It is a check written to their debtors, not to themselves. And the Max program is also the program that organizes and assists the Warm Neighbors, Cool Friends program through Ameren. And I'd encourage you all, if you can, to add Warm Neighbors, Cool Friends to your power bill to help with that cause. Now, at the January board meeting, I challenged our board, as well as the congregation, for us to become the first Decatur Green Chalice congregation. And just this past week, we received our certificate, and even at our own meal tonight, we've already transitioned from disposable plates to a return to the fine china that we have in our kitchen, and to make the other additional necessary changes so that we can be a better steward of the earth and its resources. And as a point of information, the picture of our certificate has been seen by over 700 people in the last 2 days in our accomplishment as Green Chalice. So I know it's been distributed on the CCIW Disciples Facebook page. So we are definitely in the news with that. Prairie Avenue is on the move in 2018. Absolutely. Completely believe that, especially now that we have defrosted from this winter. Your generous support of personal time, skills, talents, and financial contributions are helping us as a community to God's calling for being the living presence of Jesus Christ here in Nelson Park neighborhood, as well as Cloakey Park just across the way, Galloway Park just over to the east of us, as well as Lions Park. Our facilities are in the efforts of preparation, and our outreach is truly expanding. And our love for one another and for our neighbors is that powerful witness that is desperately needed in these divisive and troubling times we live in. May each one of us roll up our sleeves, share in our generosity, join in prayer, and do the work that God is calling us to do every day as followers of Jesus Christ. God bless you, and may God continue to bless this beloved part of the body of Christ that is Prairie Avenue Christian Church today. Amen.